What if I told you that everything you think you need to become the man you truly desire to be already exists within you right now? Not as some motivational platitude, but as a measurable, scientific reality that quantum physics has been proving for over a century. What if the gap between who you are today and who you want to become isn't a distance you need to travel over years of struggle, but rather a frequency you need to tune into, like changing the station on a radio? This isn't about positive thinking, vision boards, or manifesting techniques you've heard 1,000 times before. This is about something far more profound and far more practical. This is about discovering the quantum truth of your own existence and learning to align with the version of yourself that's already living your dream life in another dimension of possibility. And before you think this sounds too out there, understand this. We're going to ground everything in neuroscience, quantum mechanics, and the biology of transformation. This is where hard science meets ancient wisdom, and where that intersection creates real, measurable results in your life. You see, most men approach transformation completely backwards. They think they need to change their circumstances to change themselves. They believe they need external validation to feel worthy, the promotion, the recognition, the success markers that society told them to chase. They think they need more money to feel abundant, the perfect relationship to feel complete, or the ideal body to feel confident. But here's the hard truth. This approach actually keeps you stuck in the very reality you're trying to escape. It's like trying to change your reflection in the mirror by touching the glass. You're working on the effect rather than the cause. You're treating the symptom instead of the disease. What if I told you that this backwards approach isn't just ineffective? It's the primary reason you've been working so hard without getting the results you want. What if the secret isn't about getting something new, but about remembering something fundamental that you've forgotten about how reality actually works? Think about every major change you've tried to make in the past. Maybe you wanted to build a business, get in shape, find the right partner, or achieve financial freedom. Now, think about how you approached it. Did you focus on the doing, the actions, the strategies, the tactics? Did you push harder, work longer, grind through resistance? And how did that work out? For most men, the answer is temporarily at best. You might have made some progress, but then you slipped back. The weight came back, the business plateaued, the relationship fell apart, the money came and went. Why? Because you never changed the fundamental identity underneath the actions. You were still operating as the same person, just trying to do different things. Today, we're going to explore the hidden mechanics of identity transformation. The stuff they don't teach you in school, in business courses, or in most personal development programs. We're going to discover why most men remain trapped in cycles of limitation despite their best efforts to change, despite their intelligence, despite their work ethic, despite their desire. And more importantly, I'm going to show you how to break free from the prison of your past self and step into the energy of who you're meant to become. This isn't theory. This isn't philosophy. This is a practical roadmap to becoming the person who naturally attracts everything you desire without force, without struggle, without sacrificing who you are in the process. But here's what makes this different from everything else you've heard. We're not going to focus primarily on what you want. We're going to focus on who you need to become to have it. Because here's a truth that quantum physics has proven beyond doubt. The universe doesn't respond to your wishes. It doesn't respond to your goals. It doesn't even respond to your actions, at least not in the way you think. The universe responds to your identity. It responds to the energetic signature you broadcast every moment of every day. It responds to who you're being, not what you're doing. And right now, without even realizing it, you might be broadcasting the frequency of your limitations rather than your potential. You might be sending out a signal that says, "I'm the guy who struggles with money," or "I'm the guy who can't find the right partner," or "I'm the guy who's stuck at this level." And the universe, which operates like a sophisticated matching system, keeps delivering experiences that match your dominant frequency. Not because it's punishing you, not because you're unlucky, but because it's responding to the signal you're broadcasting with scientific precision. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why your transformation has felt so difficult and how to make it effortless. You'll discover the one shift that changes everything, and how to embody it so completely that your external world has no choice but to reflect your internal transformation. This is where science meets spirituality. This is where possibility becomes reality. And this is where you stop being the person things happen to and become the person who makes things happen. This is where you stop being at the mercy of circumstances and start becoming the creator of circumstances. But I need to warn you, this information is going to challenge some of your deepest beliefs about how change works. It's going to contradict what society has taught you about success, achievement, and growth. And if you're not ready to question everything you think you know about transformation, this might not be for you. But if you're ready to step into a fundamentally different paradigm, one that actually works with the laws of the universe rather than against them, then keep watching. Because what you're about to discover will change everything. Let me ask you something. When you wake up in the morning, who do you become? Not who do you want to be, not who you tell yourself you should be, but who do you actually embody the moment consciousness floods back into your awareness? Do you become the man who's excited about the day ahead, who sees opportunity in every moment, who feels powerful and purposeful? Or do you become the man who immediately remembers yesterday's problems, who feels the weight of obligations, who mentally rehearses all the reasons today will be just like yesterday? Do you step into possibility, or do you step into patterns? This is a crucial distinction, and your honest answer reveals everything about why your life looks the way it does right now. Here's what most men don't realize, and what neuroscience has proven conclusively. The first few minutes after you wake up are the most crucial moments of your entire day. In those moments, your brain is transitioning from theta state to beta state, from the subconscious to the conscious, from a state of high suggestibility to your normal waking consciousness. And whatever identity you step into during that transition becomes the energetic foundation for everything that follows. It's like setting the GPS coordinates for your entire day. It's like choosing the lens through which you'll perceive and interpret every experience that comes your way. Most men unconsciously choose to become a recycled version of yesterday's self. They wake up and immediately their body remembers the familiar cocktail of emotions they've been addicted to for years. Maybe it's worry about money, frustration about work, anxiety about performance, or a general sense of dissatisfaction with where they are in life. And here's what makes this particularly insidious. These emotions aren't just feelings that come and go. They're chemical signatures that literally program your cells and broadcast a specific frequency to the quantum field. Dr. Joe Dispenza's research has shown that every emotion you feel causes your body to release specific neuropeptides and hormones that bind to cellular receptors, literally changing the expression of your DNA in real time. Think about this for a moment and really let it sink in. If you've been feeling lack for years, your body has become chemically addicted to lack. Not metaphorically, not figuratively, actually biochemically addicted. Your cells have developed receptors that expect and crave the neuropeptides associated with lack, just like a drug addict craves their substance of choice. If you've been feeling unworthy, your nervous system has memorized unworthiness as home. It's become your baseline, your set point, your comfort zone. And here's the kicker that changes everything. Your body doesn't know the difference between an experience that's actually happening and one that you're just thinking about. This has been proven in laboratory settings over and over. When you imagine an experience vividly enough, your brain fires the same neural pathways as if you were actually having that experience. Your body releases the same chemicals. Your cells respond the same way. So every time you replay old stories, relive past hurts, or imagine future fears, you're literally reconditioning yourself to remain the same person. You're taking yesterday's emotions and dragging them into today, then projecting them into tomorrow. You're essentially time traveling backwards, bringing your past into your present and your future. And then one day, you wake up and realize you're not practicing anymore. You're not trying to be your future self. You are your future self. The identity you've been cultivating has become your new normal. The frequency you've been broadcasting has attracted a completely different reality. The person you've been becoming has become who you are. This is when the magic really happens. This is when your external world begins to dramatically shift to match your internal transformation. Opportunities that would have never appeared before suddenly show up. People who resonate with your new frequency are drawn into your life. Resources flow more easily. Doors open that were previously closed. And here's what's fascinating. These aren't new opportunities, people, or resources. They were always there, always available in the quantum field of infinite possibilities. But you weren't a vibrational match for them before. You weren't broadcasting the frequency that would attract them. You weren't embodying the identity that would recognize them. It's like when you buy a new car and suddenly you see that car everywhere. The cars were always there on the road, but your awareness wasn't attuned to them. When you shift your identity, you shift your awareness. You shift what you perceive as possible. You shift what you notice, what you attract, what you create. But here's a crucial point that most people miss. The external changes are not the goal. They're the byproduct. They're the evidence of transformation, not the transformation itself. If you chase the external changes, you'll lose the internal alignment that creates them. If you focus on the manifestation rather than the being, you'll collapse back into the old pattern of trying to get something rather than expressing something. This is one of the biggest traps in personal development and manifestation work: outcome attachment. You do the practices, you visualize, you embody, but you're constantly checking to see if it's working. You're constantly measuring your external reality against your desired reality. You're constantly asking, where is it? Why hasn't it shown up yet? Am I doing this wrong? And that very energy of checking, measuring, and questioning is broadcasting a signal of whack. It's saying, I don't have it yet. I'm still the person who's waiting for it. I'm still the person who doubts. And the universe responds to that signal with matching experiences of lack, waiting, and doubt. This is why detachment is so important. Not detachment in the sense of not caring, but detachment in the sense of trusting. Detachment in the sense of knowing that your value, your worth, your completeness doesn't depend on any external outcome. Detachment in the sense of being so aligned with who you are that what you have becomes secondary. When you're truly embodying your future self, you're not waiting for your life to change to feel complete. You feel complete now. You're not waiting for abundance to show up to feel abundant. You feel abundant now. You're not waiting for love to arrive to feel loved. You feel loved now. And paradoxically, this is when everything you desire rushes toward you, because you've stopped chasing it. You've stopped trying to fill an internal void with external things. You've stopped being the person who needs something to feel whole. You've become the person who is whole and therefore naturally attracts wholeness in all its forms. Let's talk about the neuroscience behind all of this for a moment, because understanding the mechanics makes the process more real, more tangible, more trustworthy. Your brain has approximately 86 billion neurons, and each neuron can form thousands of connections with other neurons. These connections, called synapses, are constantly changing based on your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. This is called neuroplasticity, and it's the biological basis for all learning, memory, and transformation. Every time you think a thought, feel an emotion, or take an action, you're strengthening certain neural pathways and weakening others. Neurons that fire together, wire together. This is Hebb's law, one of the fundamental principles of neuroscience. So when you've been thinking the same thoughts, feeling the same emotions, and taking the same actions for years, you've created superhighways in your brain, neural pathways that are so strong, so automatic, that they fire without conscious intention. This is your default mode network, the autopilot that runs most of your life. But here's the empowering truth. You can change these pathways. You can create new neural connections. You can literally rewire your brain. Not metaphorically, literally. Brain scans have proven this conclusively. When you practice embodying your future self every morning, when you consciously choose different thoughts throughout the day, when you feel emotions that match your desired reality before it happens, you're building new neural pathways. You're creating new superhighways in your brain that correspond to your new identity. At first, these pathways are weak. They're like dirt paths in a forest. It takes conscious effort to walk them. It's easier to default to the old superhighways, but every time you choose the new pathway, you strengthen it. Every time you resist the old pathway, you weaken it. Over time, and research suggests this can happen in as little as 30 to 60 days of consistent practice, the new pathway becomes stronger than the old one. The new pattern becomes more automatic than the old pattern. The new identity becomes more natural than the old identity. This is why consistency is more important than intensity. It's not about having one powerful transformation experience and thinking you're done. It's about making small choices consistently every single day. It's about showing up for your future self even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it, because those are the moments when you're truly rewiring your brain. This is where ritual becomes powerful, not ritual in the religious sense, but ritual in the sense of consistent, intentional practices that anchor your new identity. Your morning practice of embodying your future self, this is a ritual. It's a sacred time that you protect from all distractions. It's a commitment you make to yourself that takes priority over everything else. But rituals can be woven throughout your day. Maybe it's a moment of conscious breathing before important meetings, where you choose who you're going to be. Maybe it's a practice of gratitude before meals, where you acknowledge abundance. Maybe it's an evening reflection where you celebrate the moments you showed up as your future self. These rituals serve multiple purposes. First, they interrupt the autopilot of your default mode network. They create moments of consciousness in an otherwise unconscious day. They give you opportunities to choose rather than react. Second, they create anchors for your new identity. They're touch points throughout the day that remind you of who you're becoming. They're like bookmarks that help you find your way back when you get lost in old patterns. Third, they build momentum. Each time you complete a ritual, you're proving to yourself that you're serious about transformation. You're building trust with yourself. You're demonstrating commitment. And this builds confidence that you can actually change. The specific rituals you choose don't matter as much as the consistency with which you practice them. What matters is that you have intentional practices that support your transformation, and that you honor those practices with the same commitment you'd honor a commitment to anyone else you love. Now let's address something important. Setbacks are inevitable. There will be days when you completely forget to embody your future self. There will be times when you react from your old identity despite your best intentions. There will be moments when you doubt this entire process and wonder if you're just deluding yourself. This is normal. This is human. This is part of the journey. The question isn't whether you'll experience setbacks. The question is, how will you respond to them? Most people respond to setbacks by collapsing into shame and self-judgment. They beat themselves up. They decide they've failed. They use the setback as evidence that change is impossible for them. And this response is what actually keeps them stuck, not the setback itself. But what if you responded differently? What if you saw setbacks as data rather than as failure? What if you approached them with curiosity rather than judgment? What if you asked, what can I learn from this? What was I believing in that moment? What was I feeling? What triggered me back into my old pattern? This shifts everything. Instead of setbacks being proof of your limitations, they become opportunities for deeper understanding. Instead of being reasons to give up, they become insights that accelerate your growth. Your future self doesn't judge setbacks. Your future self sees them as natural part of the transformation process. Your future self knows that the path isn't linear. It's a spiral where you sometimes revisit old places but from a higher perspective each time. So when you have a setback, pause, take a breath, acknowledge what happened without making it mean something about your worth or your potential, then consciously choose to return to your future self. Not tomorrow, not after you've punished yourself enough. Right now, in this moment. This is self-compassion in action, and research has shown that self-compassion is far more effective for behavioral change than self-criticism. When you treat yourself with kindness, when you acknowledge your humanity, when you meet yourself where you are without judgment, you create the safety necessary for real transformation. Let's talk about environment, because this is a factor that many men overlook, but that has tremendous impact on transformation. You are not an isolated system. You are constantly interacting with your environment, and your environment is constantly shaping you. The people you spend time with, the content you consume, the spaces you inhabit, the conversations you engage in, all of these are either supporting your transformation or undermining it. If you're trying to become a new version of yourself, but you're spending all your time with people who reinforce your old identity, transformation becomes exponentially harder. If you're trying to embody abundance, but you're constantly consuming content about scarcity and limitation, you're working against yourself. This is where you need to be ruthlessly honest and sometimes make difficult choices. You might need to spend less time with certain people, at least temporarily, while you're solidifying your new identity. You might need to unfollow accounts that trigger old patterns. You might need to create physical spaces in your home that support your new way of being. This isn't about being elitist or thinking you're better than others. This is about recognizing that you're in a vulnerable transition period, and you need to protect your transformation like you'd protect a newborn baby. Once your new identity is solid, once your new neural pathways are strong, you'll be able to engage with anything without being pulled off center. But until then, you need to be strategic about your environment. One powerful practice is to create a physical space that represents your future self. Maybe it's a corner of your bedroom. Maybe it's your office, maybe it's your car, but somewhere you can designate as the space where you embody who you're becoming. In this space, you might have images that represent your desired reality, books that your future self would read, objects that carry the energy you want to embody. Maybe you play certain music there, or use certain scents, or wear certain clothes. The key is that this space becomes an anchor for your new identity. When you enter this space, you automatically shift into the state of your future self. Your nervous system learns to associate this environment with your new way of being. This works because your brain is constantly making associations between environment and state. This is why it's hard to sleep in a new place. Your brain doesn't associate that environment with sleep. This is why certain smells can instantly transport you back to childhood. Your brain has strong associations between that scent and those memories. You can use this principle deliberately to support your transformation. By creating environmental anchors for your new identity, you make it easier to access that state. You reduce the friction between who you were and who you're becoming. Let's talk about language, because the words you use, especially the words you use with yourself, have tremendous power in shaping your identity. Most men have an internal critic that's been running commentary in their head for decades. This voice tells them they're not good enough, they're behind where they should be, they're fooling themselves, they're going to fail. And most men have become so accustomed to this voice that they don't even notice it anymore. It's just the background noise of their mental environment. But this voice isn't neutral. It's actively shaping your identity. Every time you tell yourself, "I'm not the kind of person who can do that," you're reinforcing the neural pathways of limitation. Every time you say, "I always mess this up," you're programming yourself for failure. Every time you think, "I'm just not good with money, relationships/health," you're cementing that identity. The language you use creates your reality because it shapes what you believe about yourself. And what you believe about yourself determines what you perceive as possible. And what you perceive as possible determines what actions you take, and what actions you take determines your results. So start paying attention to your self-talk. Notice the stories you're telling yourself about who you are and what you're capable of. Notice the limiting language you use casually throughout the day. Notice how often you diminish yourself, doubt yourself, criticize yourself, and then consciously choose different language. Not fake positivity that you don't believe, but truthful language that aligns with your potential rather than your limitations. Instead of, "I can't do this," try, "I haven't learned how to do this yet." Instead of, "I always fail at this," try, "I've struggled with this in the past and I'm learning to do it differently." Instead of, "I'm not that kind of person," try, "I'm becoming that kind of person." These shifts might seem small, but they're profound. They're the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. They're the difference between being trapped by your past and being empowered by your potential. Now I want to address something that most personal development content skips over, but that's crucial for lasting transformation: shadow integration. Your shadow is all the parts of yourself that you've rejected, denied, or suppressed because they didn't fit the image you wanted to have of yourself, or the image others wanted you to have. Maybe it's your anger, your selfishness, your weakness, your sexuality, your ambition, your playfulness. Whatever aspects of yourself you learned were unacceptable. These parts don't disappear when you reject them. They go underground. They become unconscious. And from that unconscious place, they sabotage your transformation in ways you can't see. Maybe you're trying to become a confident, powerful man, but you have unconscious shame about your masculinity. Maybe you're trying to create abundance, but you have unconscious guilt about having more than others. Maybe you're trying to build a loving relationship, but you have unconscious fear of vulnerability. These unconscious patterns will undermine your conscious intentions every time. You'll self-sabotage right when you're about to break through. You'll create drama that pulls you back into familiar suffering. You'll find ways to prove that you can't have what you want. The solution isn't to try harder to overcome these patterns. The solution is to integrate them. to bring them into consciousness, to acknowledge them, understand them, and ultimately transform them. This requires deep honesty with yourself. It requires being willing to look at the parts of yourself you've been avoiding. It requires questioning the beliefs you've held about who you are and what's acceptable. This is advanced work, and for many men, it's work that's best done with support, whether that's a therapist, a coach, or a trusted group of men who are committed to the same level of honesty and growth. But it's essential work, because you can't become fully who you're meant to be while rejecting parts of who you are. You can't express your full power while keeping aspects of yourself in prison. You can't broadcast a clear frequency while parts of you are broadcasting conflicting signals. Let's address a question that's probably on your mind. How long does this take? The honest answer is, it varies. Some men experience dramatic shifts within weeks. Others need months or even years to fully solidify their new identity. It depends on how deep your conditioning goes, how consistent you are with your practices, how much support you have, and how willing you are to face resistance without giving up. But here's what I can tell you from working with thousands of men. You'll start noticing changes almost immediately if you're truly committed to this process. Within the first week, you'll notice yourself making different choices. Within the first month, you'll notice others responding to you differently. Within the first 3 months, you'll look back and barely recognize the person you were. The key is to trust the process without being attached to a specific timeline. Your job isn't to make transformation happen on your schedule. Your job is to show up consistently, to choose your future self over and over, and to trust that the universe is orchestrating the perfect timing for your evolution. Some things need to fall away before new things can arrive. Some lessons need to be learned before certain opportunities can appear. Some internal shifts need to happen before external circumstances can change. Trust that everything is unfolding exactly as it needs to. This brings us to something that seems paradoxical: the role of surrender in transformation. On one hand, I've been talking about the importance of conscious choice, intentional practice, and committed action. On the other hand, I'm now talking about surrender. These might seem contradictory, but they're actually complementary. Surrender doesn't mean giving up. It doesn't mean being passive or accepting circumstances you don't want. Surrender means releasing your attachment to how your transformation should look and trusting the intelligence of the universe to deliver what's best for you. Surrender means doing everything you can do, showing up for your practices, making aligned choices, taking inspired action, and then releasing control over the outcome. It means being fully committed to your transformation while simultaneously being fully at peace with wherever you are in the process. This is the balance between masculine and feminine energy. The masculine plans, acts, creates, pushes. The feminine allows, receives, trusts, flows. Most men are over-identified with masculine energy, always doing, always pushing, always forcing. But lasting transformation requires both. You need the masculine energy to commit to your practices, to make different choices, to take bold action. But you also need the feminine energy to trust, to receive, to allow things to unfold in their own timing. When you can hold both, when you can be fully committed while being fully surrendered, you become unstoppable. You're working with the universe rather than against it. You're in the flow rather than fighting the current. So we come back to the fundamental question: who are you going to be today? Not who were you yesterday, not who you'll try to be tomorrow. Who are you going to be in this moment, right now? Because this moment is all you have. This moment is where all your power lives. This moment is where transformation happens. Not in some future fantasy where everything is perfect, not in some past memory of who you used to be, but here, now, in this imperfect, messy, beautiful present moment. Your future self isn't waiting for someday to arrive. They're waiting for you to arrive in this moment as them. They're waiting for you to stop postponing your greatness. They're waiting for you to stop making excuses. They're waiting for you to stop believing the story that you need to be fixed before you can be powerful. You don't need to wait until you have more money to embody abundance. You don't need to wait until you find the perfect relationship to embody love. You don't need to wait until you achieve your goals to embody success. You can be all of these things right now, regardless of your circumstances. This is the secret that changes everything. Your state of being is independent of your circumstances. Who you are isn't determined by what you have. Your identity isn't conditional on your achievements. Your worth isn't measured by your results. When you truly understand this, when you truly embody this, you become free. Free from the tyranny of needing life to be different before you can feel good. Free from the prison of waiting for permission. Free from the limitation of believing you're not enough as you are. This is your invitation. Not to become someone new, but to remember who you've always been underneath all the conditioning. Not to fix what's broken, but to reveal what's whole. Not to acquire more, but to express more of what you already are. This is your invitation to stop waiting for the perfect moment and recognize that this is the perfect moment. This is your invitation to stop preparing to live and start actually living. This is your invitation to stop being the person who talks about change and become the person who embodies it. The version of yourself that you've been seeking has been seeking you too. They've been calling to you through your dissatisfaction with the status quo. They've been knocking on the door of your consciousness through your dreams and desires. They've been waiting patiently for you to remember that you're not two separate beings, you and your future self, but one being experiencing itself across different frequencies. All you need to do is tune in. All you need to do is align. All you need to do is choose, in this moment and every moment that follows, to be who you truly are rather than who you think you should be. So here's what I want you to do right now. Before you move on to the next thing, before you forget, before your rational mind talks you out of it, take a moment. Close your eyes if you're in a place where you can. Take 3 deep breaths and feel into your future self. Not the external trappings of your future life, but the internal state of your future being. How does it feel to be fully aligned with your potential? How does it feel to trust yourself completely? How does it feel to know that you are exactly where you need to be, doing exactly what you need to be doing? Let that feeling wash over you. Let it fill your body. Let it become more real than your current circumstances. Because in this moment, you're not imagining your future. You're experiencing it. You're collapsing the wave function of possibility into the particle reality of now. And commit. Commit to doing the morning practice I described for the next 30 days. Commit to choosing your future self in the choice points throughout your day. Commit to surrounding yourself with energy that supports your evolution. Commit to being ruthlessly honest about the patterns that are keeping you stuck. Don't commit to being perfect. Commit to being present. Don't commit to never failing. Commit to always returning. Don't commit to having all the answers. Commit to asking better questions. And remember this, you're not trying to become who you truly desire. You're already who you truly desire, just covered up by layers of conditioning, programming, and limiting beliefs. Your transformation isn't about building something new. It's about removing everything that's blocking your natural expression. You're not broken. You don't need fixing. You need remembering. You need to remember the power that's always been within you. You need to remember the potential that's always been available to you. You need to remember that you are not your past. You are not your circumstances. You are not your limitations. You are pure consciousness temporarily focused in a human body, playing in a quantum field of infinite possibilities, with the power to choose which possibilities you collapse into your experienced reality. That's not philosophy. That's not spirituality. That's physics. That's neuroscience. That's the truth of what you are. So stop playing small. Stop waiting for permission. Stop believing the lie that transformation is supposed to be hard. It's only hard when you're trying to become someone you're not. It's effortless when you're simply allowing yourself to be who you already are. Your future self is here right now, in this moment, waiting for you to recognize them in the mirror. They're not separate from you. They are you, just operating at a different frequency. And all you need to do is tune in. The choice is yours. The power is yours. The moment is now. Who will you choose to be? Not someday, not when everything is perfect, not when you feel ready. Right now, in this moment, who will you choose to be? Because that choice, that simple choice to align with the truth of who you are rather than the illusion of who you think you are, that choice changes everything. Make it now. Make it fully. Make it without reservation, and watch as your entire reality shifts to match the frequency of your being. This is quantum manifestation. This is the science of becoming. This is your birthright. Claim it. You wonder why nothing changes. This is why change feels so hard. It's not because you're weak. It's not because you lack willpower or discipline or commitment. It's because you're fighting against years, sometimes decades, of biochemical conditioning. You're trying to create a new future with the same energy as your past. And the universe, which operates on vibrational matching with the precision of a mathematical equation, keeps delivering experiences that match your dominant frequency. Think of it like this. You're trying to tune into a new radio station while still broadcasting the signal of the old one. You're trying to receive on one frequency while transmitting on another. And you're confused about why you keep getting static instead of clear reception. But here's where it gets interesting. Here's where science and ancient wisdom converge. Here's where the game changes completely. What if you could interrupt this pattern? What if instead of waking up as yesterday's version of yourself, you could wake up as tomorrow's version of yourself? What if you could train your body to feel the emotions of your desired future before it actually happens? This is where the magic begins, though it's not magic at all. It's applied neuroscience. It's quantum mechanics in action. It's the practical application of how consciousness interacts with the field of infinite possibilities. When you can embody the emotional state of your desired reality consistently, you literally begin to pull that reality into existence. Not in some mystical, unexplainable way, but through measurable mechanisms that we can now track with brain scans and biometric monitoring. You start broadcasting a different signal. You begin attracting different opportunities, different people, different experiences. Not because you're trying to force anything to happen, but because you've become a vibrational match for a different level of life. You've changed the channel. You've tuned into a different frequency, and the universe responds to that frequency with matching experiences. Let me share something profound with you, something that quantum physics has proven beyond any reasonable doubt. Every version of yourself you could ever want to become already exists in the quantum field of infinite possibilities. This isn't metaphorical. This isn't spiritual bypassing. This is actual physics. The confident version of you, the one who walks into any room and commands respect without saying a word, already exists. The abundant version of you, the one who makes money effortlessly because he understands value creation at a fundamental level, already exists. The healthy version of you, the one with energy, vitality, and physical power, already exists. The version of you that has the perfect relationship, the thriving business, the financial freedom, the impact you want to make, all of these versions already exist. They're not fantasies. They're not distant possibilities that may or may not happen someday. They're real potential states that exist right now in the quantum field, waiting for you to collapse them into your experienced reality through the act of observation and embodiment. This is what the famous double-slit experiment proved, that the observer affects the observed. That consciousness itself plays a fundamental role in determining what potentials become actualized. That reality isn't fixed and predetermined, but rather fluid and responsive to the quality of our attention and the consistency of our being. The only question is, which frequency are you going to tune into? Which version of yourself are you going to give your attention to? Which potential reality are you going to collapse into your experience through the power of sustained focus and emotional embodiment? Most men spend their entire lives tuned into the frequency of their limitations. They've been conditioned by family, by society, by education, by early experiences, to believe that they are their past, that their history defines their destiny, that change is supposed to be slow and difficult and painful. They've been programmed to accept incremental improvement at best, to be grateful for small wins, to not want too much, to stay in their lane, to be realistic, to not get their hopes up, to remember where they came from, to know their place. And these beliefs aren't just thoughts floating around in their head. These beliefs are embodied. They're stored in the nervous system. They're written into cellular memory. They're expressed through posture, through voice, through the way they move through the world. They're broadcasting a signal that says, "I'm a man who stays within limits." But what if that's not true? What if that's just a story you've been telling yourself for so long that it feels like truth? What if transformation could happen in an instant, not over years of struggle, but in the single moment when you truly align with who you're meant to be? Here's what I've discovered through years of studying consciousness, quantum mechanics, neuroscience, and working with thousands of men who have successfully transformed their lives. The only thing standing between you and your desired reality is your attachment to your current identity. Read that again. The only thing standing between you and your desired reality is your attachment to your current identity. You've become so familiar with being the person who struggles, who doubts, who waits for permission, who needs everything to line up perfectly before you make a move, that you've forgotten you have the power to choose differently. You've become comfortable in your discomfort. You've made friends with your limitations. You've built a whole life structure around being this particular version of yourself, and dismantling that structure feels threatening, even when that structure is a prison. This is what psychologists call secondary gain, the hidden benefits you get from staying stuck. Maybe being stuck means you don't have to take risks. Maybe it means you don't have to face potential failure. Maybe it means you get sympathy from others. Maybe it means you have an excuse for why you're not living up to your potential. These secondary gains are invisible to most people, but they're incredibly powerful. They're the reason why you sabotage yourself right when you're about to break through. They're the reason why you procrastinate on the very things that would change your life. They're the reason why you find comfort in complaining rather than committing to change. But choosing differently isn't just about positive thinking. It's not about affirmations or vision boards or pretending everything is okay when it's not. Those approaches fail because they don't address the fundamental issue. Your nervous system is hardwired to maintain your current identity. Choosing differently is about embodied transformation. It's about training your nervous system to recognize a new normal. It's about rewiring the neural pathways that have kept you stuck. It's about becoming so aligned with your future self that your current circumstances become irrelevant to your state of being. This is where most personal development falls catastrophically short. It focuses on changing behavior without changing identity. It tries to modify actions without transforming the person taking those actions. It's like trying to change what a computer does without changing the software it's running. You might get temporary changes, but the system will always default back to its original programming. But lasting change doesn't happen at the level of doing. It happens at the level of being. When you change who you are, when you fundamentally shift your identity, what you do changes automatically. Your actions flow from your being. Your behaviors express your identity. Your results reflect who you've become. This is why discipline is overrated. This is why willpower isn't the answer. This is why just do it doesn't work long term. Because when you're forcing yourself to do things that don't align with your identity, you're fighting an uphill battle against your own nervous system. You're swimming against the current of your own biochemistry. But when you become the person who naturally does those things, when those actions are an expression of your identity rather than a contradiction of it, everything becomes effortless. You're not forcing yourself to work out. You're a person who values physical excellence. You're not forcing yourself to build a business. You're a creator who can't help but create. You're not forcing yourself to be disciplined with money. You're a man who respects value and understands stewardship. So how do you change who you are? How do you shift from being the person who wants something to being the person who already has it? How do you collapse the wave function of possibility into the particle reality of your experience? The answer is simpler than you might think, but it requires something most men aren't willing to give: complete commitment to a new way of being. Not commitment for a day. Not commitment until it gets uncomfortable. Complete commitment. The kind of commitment you have to breathing. The kind of commitment that doesn't waver when things get difficult. The first step is recognizing that your current identity is not fixed. It's not who you really are. It's not written in stone or determined by your DNA or locked in by your past. Your identity is simply a collection of thoughts, emotions, and behaviors that you've repeated so many times they've become automatic. They've become habitual. They've become you. But just because they're automatic doesn't mean they're permanent. Just because they feel real doesn't mean they're true. Just because you've been this way for 20, 30, 40 years doesn't mean you need to be this way for the next 20, 30, 40 years. Think about it. Every cell in your body is replaced every 7 to 10 years. The person you are physically today is literally not the same person you were a decade ago. So why would your identity be any different? Why would who you are be any more fixed than what you are? Your identity is like a radio station that you've been tuned to for so long you've forgotten there are other stations available. You've been listening to the same songs, the same messages, the same programming on repeat for so long that you think it's the only station that exists. But the dial is in your hands. You can change the channel anytime you choose. You can tune into the frequency of the person you want to become and begin broadcasting that signal instead. You can start transmitting a different energy. You can begin expressing a different version of yourself. This is where the real work begins, not the work of getting something external, but the work of becoming someone internal. Not the work of changing your circumstances, but the work of changing your relationship to your circumstances. Because when you change who you are being in the present moment, you automatically change what you're creating for the future. This isn't about acquiring, it's about becoming. It's not about adding something to yourself. It's about revealing what's already there. It's not about fixing what's broken. It's about remembering what's whole. Let me give you a practical example that most men can relate to. Let's say you want to experience financial abundance. You want to make more money, build more wealth, have more financial freedom and security. Most men approach this by trying to figure out how to make more money. They focus on strategies, tactics, opportunities. They look for the next business idea, the next investment, the next income stream. They work harder, put in more hours, hustle more intensely. And sometimes this works, at least temporarily. They might make more money for a while, but then they notice something strange. No matter how much money comes in, they still feel the same anxiety about it. They still worry about losing it. They still feel like it's not enough. They still operate from the same scarcity consciousness they had when they had less. Why? Because they changed their circumstances without changing their identity. They changed what they have without changing who they are. They're still the person who believes money is scarce, that they have to fight for every dollar, that financial security is always just out of reach. But what if the real key is becoming the type of person who naturally attracts abundance? What if it's about embodying the consciousness of wealth before the wealth shows up? What would that person think about money? They would see it as energy, as a tool, as something that flows naturally when you provide value. They wouldn't hoard it out of fear or spend it out of compensation for inner emptiness. How would they feel about their worthiness to receive? They would know, at a fundamental level, that they deserve abundance not because they've earned it through suffering, but because it's their birthright as a creator, as someone who adds value to the world. What would their relationship with value be like? They would understand that wealth is created by serving others, by solving problems, by making people's lives better. They wouldn't see money as something to take, but as something that flows to them naturally when they give generously. How would they show up in the world? With confidence, with certainty, with a relaxed power that doesn't need to prove anything. They would make decisions from abundance rather than scarcity. They would invest in themselves without hesitation. They would be generous because they know there's always more coming. What energy would they broadcast? The energy of someone who already has what they need, the energy of sufficiency, the energy of trust in the universe's abundance, the energy of gratitude for what is, combined with excitement for what's coming. These aren't abstract questions. They're the blueprint for transformation. They're the template for becoming. They're the roadmap for shifting from who you are to who you want to be. When you can embody the consciousness of abundance, the thoughts, feelings, and behaviors of someone who lives abundantly, you become a magnet for abundant experiences. Not because you're trying to attract them, not because you're doing some manifestation ritual, but because you've become aligned with them. You're no longer trying to get abundance. You're expressing it. You're radiating it. You're being it. This is the difference between manifestation and creation. Manifestation implies that something exists outside of you that you need to bring into your experience. It implies separation. It implies lack. It implies that you're here and what you want is over there, and you need to somehow bridge that gap. Creation implies that everything already exists within you, and you're simply choosing which aspect to express. It implies wholeness. It implies sufficiency. It implies that you're not lacking anything. You're just choosing to express different potentials that already exist within the quantum field of your being. When you understand this distinction, everything changes. The energy shifts from desperate wanting to powerful choosing, from anxious needing to confident selecting, from fear-based scarcity to love-based abundance. You stop waiting for your life to give you permission to feel good. You start feeling good because you've remembered that feeling good is your natural state, not something you earn through achievement. You stop looking for external validation to feel worthy. You start expressing worthiness because you've recognized it as your birthright, not as something that needs to be proven through performance. You stop seeking love from others. You start being loved because you've remembered that love is what you are, not something you get from outside yourself. This isn't about pretending or faking it until you make it. That approach fails because your nervous system knows you're lying. Your body knows you're performing. Your subconscious knows there's incongruence between what you're saying and what you're being. This is about recognizing the truth of who you already are underneath the layers of conditioning and programming. This is about peeling away everything that isn't authentically you, all the shoulds, the have-tos, the expectations, the limiting beliefs, so that what remains is pure potential, pure creativity, pure power. It's not about becoming something you're not. It's about revealing something you've always been. It's not about adding to yourself. It's about subtracting all the false identities you've accumulated. It's not about transformation in the sense of changing from one thing to another. It's about transformation in the sense of seeing through the illusion of who you thought you were to the truth of who you actually are. But here's where it gets challenging, and this is where most men give up without even realizing they're at the threshold of breakthrough. The moment you start to shift into a new identity, your old identity fights back. This isn't a metaphor. This is actual biology. Your familiar patterns try to reassert themselves because your nervous system interprets any deviation from the familiar as a threat to survival. Your body craves the emotional chemistry it's been addicted to because those neuropeptides and hormones have become your biochemical home base. Your mind generates thoughts that try to pull you back into old stories because those neural pathways are deeply carved grooves in your brain, and your brain prefers the efficiency of established pathways over the energy cost of creating new ones. You might hear voices in your head saying things like, "This isn't working. You're not really changing. You're just fooling yourself. This is stupid. You should be realistic. Remember what happened last time you tried to change. You're not that kind of person. This works for other people, but not for you." These thoughts feel like truth. They feel like your inner wisdom protecting you from disappointment, but they're not. They're the death rattle of your old identity trying to maintain control. This is normal. This is part of the process. This is actually a sign that transformation is happening. The old identity doesn't disappear quietly. It makes noise. It creates drama. It generates reasons why you should go back to being who you were. It manufactures evidence that change is impossible, but this is precisely when you have the most power to choose differently. This is the crucible moment where transformation either happens or dies. This is where men separate into two categories, those who persist and become, and those who retreat and remain. Every moment of resistance is a moment of opportunity. Every time you feel the pull of old patterns, you have the chance to consciously choose your future self instead. Every time your body wants to react from past conditioning, you can respond from future possibility. This is what I call the choice point. It's the moment between stimulus and response where your power lives. It's the space where transformation happens. It's the gateway between who you've been and who you're becoming. Viktor Frankl, who survived Nazi concentration camps and went on to develop logotherapy, said, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom." That space, that gap between what happens and how you respond, is where you get to decide who you're going to be. Not who you've been, not who your conditioning says you should be, but who you choose to become in this moment. And the more consciously you navigate these choice points, the faster your transformation accelerates. Every time you choose differently, you're laying down new neural pathways. Every time you embody your future self instead of your past self, you're shifting your biochemistry. Every time you broadcast the frequency of who you're becoming instead of who you've been, you're sending a different signal to the quantum field. But you don't have to do this alone. In fact, trying to transform in isolation is one of the primary reasons most men give up. We are social creatures. We are tribal by nature. We are influenced by the energy of those around us, whether we're conscious of it or not. Transformation is accelerated by community, by being around other men who are also committed to growth, by surrounding yourself with energy that supports your evolution rather than enables your limitations. Think about it. If you're trying to become a new version of yourself, but everyone around you treats you like the old version, what happens? They pull you back. Not because they're bad people, not because they don't care about you, but because your change threatens their comfort, your evolution challenges their stagnation, your growth forces them to confront their own lack of growth. This is why crabs in a bucket pull each other down. It's not malicious. It's just that when one crab tries to climb out, the others grab onto it because they're trying to climb out too, and in the process, they all stay stuck. This is why finding your tribe is so important. Not just people who think like you, but people who see your potential even when you can't see it yourself. People who reflect back to you the highest version of yourself rather than the lowest. People who hold space for your transformation and celebrate your growth instead of questioning it or minimizing it. People who, when you say you're going to do something extraordinary, respond with, "I believe in you," instead of "be realistic." People who, when you fail, say, "What did you learn?" instead of "I told you so." People who, when you succeed, celebrate genuinely instead of feeling threatened by your elevation. When you're surrounded by this kind of energy, transformation becomes easier, not easy. Transformation is never easy, but easier. You're not swimming against the current of collective limitation. You're flowing with the current of collective elevation. You're not the only one choosing growth. You're part of a movement of conscious men who are all choosing to evolve together. There's a phenomenon in physics called quantum entanglement, where particles that have interacted with each other remain connected regardless of distance, and what happens to one instantaneously affects the other. Consciousness works similarly. When you surround yourself with people who are operating at a higher frequency, their frequency begins to entrain yours. You begin to resonate at their level. You begin to normalize what they've normalized. This is why successful people spend time with successful people, why healthy people spend time with healthy people, why conscious people spend time with conscious people. Not because they're being elitist or exclusive, but because they understand that transformation is contagious, energy is transferable, frequency is influential. Now let me share with you the most powerful practice I know for aligning with your future self. It's simple, but it's not easy. It requires consistency, commitment, and courage. But if you do this practice daily, if you make it as non-negotiable as brushing your teeth, it will change your life in ways you can't even imagine right now. Every morning, before you get out of bed, before you check your phone, before you engage with the demands of the world, before your rational mind has time to generate all the reasons why today will be the same as yesterday, take 5 to 10 minutes to consciously choose who you're going to be that day, not what you're going to do, not your to-do list, not your obligations, but who you're going to be while you're doing all of those things. Close your eyes and imagine the version of yourself who already lives the life you desire. See this man clearly. Really build the image in your mind with sensory detail. How does he think? What's his internal dialogue like? What does he think about challenges, about opportunities, about himself? How does he feel? What emotions dominate his experience? Confidence, peace, power, love, excitement, certainty? How does he move through the world? What's his posture like? How does he walk? How does he speak? What's his energy like when he enters a room? What's his presence like? When he's with others, what do they feel? What do they sense? What impact does he have just by being himself? What's his relationship with himself? Does he criticize himself or does he encourage himself? Does he doubt himself or does he trust himself? What's his relationship with others? Does he seek validation or does he validate himself? Does he compete from scarcity or does he collaborate from abundance? Now, here's the key part, and this is where most people fail at visualization exercises. Don't just visualize this person from the outside like you're watching a movie. Step into their experience, become them, merge with them, feel what it feels like to be them in your body. This is crucial. Transformation doesn't happen in your head, it happens in your body. Your nervous system is what needs to change, and your nervous system responds to felt experience, not to thoughts. Feel the confidence that flows through your being, not the false confidence that comes from external validation, but the deep, unshakable confidence that comes from knowing who you are. Feel the peace that pervades your existence, the peace that comes from trust, the peace that comes from surrender to the flow of life while still being fully engaged with it. Feel the joy that bubbles up naturally, not the forced positivity that denies reality, but the genuine joy that comes from alignment with your true self. Feel the love that radiates from the center of your being, not the needy love that wants something from others, but the abundant love that gives freely because it knows itself as the source. Feel the certainty that everything you need is already within you, not as an idea, but as a felt sense in your body. Feel it in your chest, in your gut, in your bones. Feel the trust that the universe is always supporting your highest good. Feel the relaxation that comes from knowing you don't have to force anything, that life is happening for you, not to you. Let this feeling fill every cell of your body. Let it saturate your nervous system. Let it rewire your neural pathways. Let it become your energetic signature. Let it be the frequency you broadcast as you move through your day. And this is critical. You're not doing this to get something. You're not doing this to make something happen. You're doing this because this is who you are choosing to be, regardless of your circumstances. This is your state of being that you're claiming as your birthright. Then, as you move through your day, whenever you notice yourself slipping back into old patterns, and you will notice, because you're becoming more conscious, gently return to this feeling. Choose it again and again until it becomes automatic. When someone triggers you, instead of reacting from your old pattern of defensiveness or anger or withdrawal, pause, take a breath. Ask yourself, how would my future self respond to this? And then respond from that version of yourself. When you face a challenge, instead of collapsing into doubt or fear or overwhelm, pause. Connect with your body. Remember the feeling of your future self. Ask yourself, how would my future self see this situation? And then see it through those eyes. When an opportunity appears, instead of hesitating out of fear or unworthiness, pause. Feel into your future self. Ask yourself, what would my future self do? And then do it. This practice isn't about pretending to be someone you're not. It's about remembering who you really are underneath all the conditioning. It's about aligning with the truth of your infinite potential rather than the illusion of your limitations. It's about choosing love over fear, expansion over contraction, possibility over resignation. The more you practice this, the more natural it becomes. And here's what happens. At first, you have to consciously remember to choose your future self. You have to remind yourself throughout the day. You have to catch yourself in old patterns and consciously redirect. But over time, something shifts. The new patterns start to feel more natural than the old ones. The new emotional states start to feel more like home than the familiar discomfort. The new identity starts to feel more like you than the old identity ever did. And then one day, and this day will come if you stay committed to the process, you wake up and realize something profound. You're not practicing anymore. You're not trying to be your future self. You are your future self. The identity you've been cultivating has become your new normal. The frequency you've been broadcasting has attracted a completely different reality. The person you've been becoming has simply become who you are. The practice hasn't ended. It's just become invisible. Like a master craftsman who no longer thinks about the fundamentals, you're now living your transformation unconsciously. The conscious effort has been replaced by unconscious competence. The struggle has been replaced by flow. What once required discipline now happens naturally. And in that moment, you'll look back at where you started and barely recognize that person. Not because you've become someone completely different, but because you've finally become authentically yourself. Not because you've added something to who you were, but because you've stripped away everything that wasn't truly you. You'll see your old limiting beliefs for what they were, stories you told yourself based on outdated evidence and other people's opinions. You'll see your old patterns for what they were, learned behaviors that served a purpose once, but no longer serve the man you're becoming. You'll see your old identity for what it was, a costume you wore for so long you forgot it wasn't your actual skin. And you'll feel a deep sense of freedom, not because you've escaped your life, but because you've finally stepped into it fully. Not because you've achieved every single thing you wanted, but because you've become everything you needed to be. Not because the external world has perfectly aligned with all your desires, but because your internal world has aligned with your deepest truth. And from that alignment, the external naturally follows. You'll notice that opportunities that would have terrified the old you now excite you. Challenges that would have overwhelmed the old you now energize you. Situations that would have triggered the old you now barely register as problems. You've literally rewired your nervous system to operate from a completely different baseline. This is when people start asking you what's different. They can't quite put their finger on it, but they sense something has fundamentally changed. You carry yourself differently. You speak with a different level of certainty. You make decisions with a different quality of clarity. Your presence has shifted. Your energy has elevated. And the beautiful part is, you're not trying to be impressive. You're not performing for anyone. You're simply being yourself, and that self has become so aligned with truth, so connected to source, so clear in its frequency, that it naturally impacts everyone and everything around you. This is the promise of quantum manifestation. This is the result of becoming who you truly desire. Not a perfect life with no challenges. Challenges will always come, but a powerful identity that can alchemize any challenge into growth. Not a reality where nothing goes wrong, but a consciousness that sees opportunity in everything that happens. Not an existence free from discomfort, but a being who can transform any experience into wisdom and power. The external results, the money, the relationships, the health, the success, these become byproducts of who you've become, not goals you're chasing. They flow to you naturally because you've become a vibrational match for them. You've become the kind of person these things happen for, and the universe has no choice but to deliver experiences that match your frequency. So here we are, at the end of this video, but at the beginning of your true journey. Everything I've shared with you today, the quantum physics, the neuroscience, the practices, the principles, all of it is completely useless unless you actually apply it. You can watch this video 100 times. You can understand every concept intellectually. You can agree with everything I've said, but none of that matters if you don't take action. Knowledge without application is just entertainment. Understanding without embodiment is just information you'll forget by tomorrow. The real question is, what are you going to do with this information? Are you going to close this video, nod your head, think that was interesting, and then go right back to being the same person you were before you clicked play? Or are you going to use this as the catalyst for real, lasting transformation? I want to be straight with you. Transformation is not optional if you want a different life. You cannot keep being the same person and expect different results. That's not how reality works. That's not how quantum mechanics works. That's not how your nervous system works. Einstein called it insanity, doing the same thing repeatedly and expecting different outcomes. If you want different outcomes, you need a different identity. If you want a different external reality, you need a different internal frequency. If you want to attract different experiences, you need to become a different person. It's that simple, and it's that challenging. And here's the beautiful truth. You already have everything you need to begin right now. You don't need more information. You don't need another course, another book, another video to watch. You need commitment. You need consistency. You need the courage to face the discomfort of change and persist anyway. So here's my direct challenge to you. Starting tomorrow morning, actually, starting the very next morning after you watch this, commit to the practice I outlined. Set your alarm 10 minutes earlier if you need to. Before you check your phone, before you get out of bed, before the world tells you who you should be today, spend those sacred minutes consciously choosing who you're going to be. Do this every single day for the next 30 days. Not when you feel like it, not when it's convenient, not when you're in the mood. Every single day. Treat it like brushing your teeth, non-negotiable, essential, automatic, because it is. And throughout each day, catch yourself at those choice points I talked about. When you're about to react from your old identity, pause, take one conscious breath, choose your future self instead. Do this not once, not twice, but every single time you remember. The more you do it, the more automatic it becomes. You're literally building new neural highways in your brain with each choice. Track your progress, keep a simple journal, even just a few bullet points each day about what you notice changing. Pay attention to the synchronicities, the unexpected opportunities, the shifts in how people respond to you. Celebrate the small wins because they're evidence that the process is working, that quantum shifts are happening beneath the surface. And when you slip up, because you will slip up, we all do, don't spiral into shame or give up entirely. That's what the old identity wants you to do. Just notice what happened, learn from it, extract the lesson, and choose again. Every single moment is a brand new opportunity to align with who you're becoming. The past is done. The future hasn't happened. All you have is this moment, and in this moment, you can choose. Now, if this video resonated with you, if you found real value in what I shared today, I want to ask you to do something. Share it. Share it with another man who needs to hear this message. Share it with someone who's stuck in their old patterns and is ready for something different. Share it with a friend who's been struggling to change and needs to understand why it's been so difficult. Because here's the thing, when you share truth, when you pass on wisdom that's helped you, you reinforce it in yourself. You strengthen your own transformation. Teaching is one of the most powerful ways to deepen learning. Giving is one of the most powerful ways to receive. You want this to stick? Share it. Also, let me know in the comments below, what's the one thing from this video that hit you the hardest? What's the insight that shifted your perspective? What's the practice you're committing to starting tomorrow? I personally read every comment, and I want to hear about your journey. Your comment might be exactly what another man needs to read to take action himself. And if you want to go deeper, if you want more content on quantum manifestation, applied neuroscience, and practical transformation strategies that actually work, not theory but real tools, make sure you're subscribed to this channel with the bell icon turned on. Because I'm committed to bringing you the most cutting-edge, actionable information on how to become who you're meant to be and create the life you're meant to live. But here's what I want you to remember most as you leave this video. Everything you need is already within you. You don't need me to do this for you. You don't need another guru. You don't need external validation or anyone's permission. You have the power right now, in this very moment, to choose differently. You have the ability right now to tune into a different frequency. You have the capacity right now to embody your future self. The only question that remains is, will you? Will you take what you learned here today and actually apply it? Will you commit to the practice even when it's uncomfortable, especially when it's uncomfortable? Will you choose your potential over your patterns, your future over your past, your truth over your conditioning? Because I'll tell you something, the world needs you. Not the diminished version of you that's been playing small. Not the limited version of you that's been hiding your gifts out of fear. Not the conditioned version of you that's been living someone else's definition of success. The world needs the fullest expression of who you are. The world needs your gifts fully unleashed. The world needs the unique contribution that only you can make. And you can only give that when you've become who you truly are, when you've aligned with your highest frequency, when you've stopped apologizing for your power. So this is where I leave you, not at an ending, but at a beginning. The beginning of your conscious evolution, the beginning of your quantum leap, the beginning of you living as the man you came here to be. Remember, you're not your past, you're not your current circumstances, you're not your limitations. You are infinite potential focused in human form. You are consciousness itself, exploring what it's like to be you. You are the observer who collapses possibility into reality through the power of your consistent being. And in this moment, right now, you have a choice. You always have a choice. Who will you be? Choose powerfully, choose consciously, choose your future self, and watch as everything changes. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, stay aligned, stay committed, and stay true to the man you're becoming. This is your time. This is your moment. This is your transformation. Now go make it real.